doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really good. I'm so excited to be talking with you today.
Yeah, same here. Thanks for having me on your show.
No problem. Definitely an honor to be talking with you and to be able to discuss many things about your career and how you got involved with Jimmy Neutron and everything.
Okay, okay.
And I have to say, I gotta read out of your book, so I was definitely really excited to look through it.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'd like to plug my books while I'm on your show here.
Um, so how did you become involved with becoming an illustrator and artist for movies and TV?
Well, I got my first job at a small studio in Dallas, Texas, that did like TV commercials and educational films and uh, motion graphics for like the local news shows and stuff. And started out as an assistant cameraman there on the animation camera. And then they found out I could draw, so they stuck me in the art department. And this was back in the old days when all the animation was done with hand painted cells and backgrounds and then shot on film on a film camera. So that's pretty much how I got my start.
And how did you become an artist? What kind of training did you go through?
I was a hobby as a kid, and I would occasionally get little freelance jobs to do illustration work. And that continued on into my adult life too.
Same here, because I've been drawing pretty much since I was like 2, so I've been getting
Yeah.
better and better over time.
Yeah, same here, same here. Yeah.
So what kind of inspiration, what was your inspiration for being an animator and working for films?
Well, when I was a kid, I was a big fan of the old Warner Brothers cartoons. They used to show those on TV a lot. So I really like that sense of humor. I really like that style of animation. And on the other side, I was also a big fan of Ray Harryhausen. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
I'm actually not.
You should look him up. He's a special effects pioneer. He specialized in doing stop motion animation
Okay.
combined with live action. Couple movies you should check out maybe is 1 Million Years BC. It's an old movie with Raquel Welch, and it has the stop motion dinosaurs in it that he did.
Well, I would definitely check it out.
Yeah, very
Always
good
on the
movie.
lookout for everything.
Yeah, and another one is Jason and the Argonauts. It's like one of those sword and sandal movies with like Hercules in it and stuff like that. And
Okay.
he did the special effects in that film as well. And he was a big pioneer in the special effects and stop motion animation deal. And I had like a little setup in my garage with like stop motion dinosaurs and stuff that I used to do.
Yeah, I'm always on the lookout for other things to watch and become more inspired by other people who are involved in animation and effects. I'm just so fascinated with everything.
Yeah, well, I got hooked on that. When I was a kid, my dad took me to see the original King Kong, the old black and white version.
Yeah.
And that was all done with stop motion. And that's kind of what triggered my interest in that.
Yeah, I probably just grew up watching all the Disney movies, so that kind of piqued my interest. But it wasn't until I was much older and watching all the behind-the-scenes features that really piqued my interest in all the special effects and how things were made. So that was really fascinating to me, and especially when it comes to animation.
Yeah, I didn't see too many Disney films growing up. I remember seeing Snow White and Sword in the Stone and The Jungle Book. And I think those are still some of my favorite Disney films.
The originals are always the best.
Yeah.
So what do you enjoy most about being an illustrator?
I don't get to do too much illustration work anymore. I've been doing storyboard work mostly for the past 20 years now. And I switched over to that when we got the Jimmy Neutron show, switched into doing storyboards. and about, a little more than 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now, we started doing our storyboards digitally. So I still have, I still draw, but it's on a Cintiq monitor.
Right.
We have a special program that we use for storyboarding. It's called Storyboard Pro,
Okay.
and that's pretty much the industry standard now.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I really like working with it. It's a great way to storyboard stuff.
for the last 2 years, 3 years, I've been working on my iPad for digital art now, and I'm like, this is
Mhm.
so much fun. I've been using Procreate and doing everything off of there,
Mhm.
and I've just been having a lot of fun uh, learning how to do everything digitally.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah. Well, I ended up doing my graphic novel semi-digitally. Well, I drew it all on paper, and then I scanned that artwork in, and then I did all the finished artwork on in Photoshop.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was able to get like a pretty good ink line and pen and ink style artwork working in Photoshop. And it's so much easier to go in and fix stuff and revise things. You can keep sections of the art on different layers and stuff. And
Yeah, I
makes it
have
a whole-
Photoshop, so I didn't know I could even do that. So I
Yeah,
definitely give that a try.
yeah. I was originally going to do the book all old school on pen and paper and stuff, and I thought that's crazy. It's going to take me a million years to finish that. So I'm glad I switched to the Photoshop. So.
Yeah, that it's definitely a lot of fun to use, and there's a lot more you can do with it.
Mhm.
So that that definitely takes up a good amount of time, but that's better to do than physical.
Yeah, yeah. And one of the things I like about doing our storyboards in Storyboard Pro is you can load in the soundtrack and time out your boards to the soundtrack. Like on Bob's Burgers, we get the voice tracks. Sometimes it's just a mix of the cast and maybe the writers filling in some of the voices. But still, you get at least you get a sense of timing for everything, and you can time out all your panels to fit the voice track.
Oh, that's
And
pretty cool.
yeah, so we actually turn in a pretty detailed animatic for the show that's all timed out to the voice track and everything.
And when
That's
it
all
comes to
done.
doing, oh, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
But, yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to working on storyboards, how do you prepare to work on such projects?
You mean how I got started, or how we do it?
Like,
Like,
how do you get involved with each project and become prepared to do a storyboard?
well, on Bob's, we have a team of about 5 storyboard artists and a director. And we usually meet with the director and go over the script. We have to read the script thoroughly. And we have meetings with the writers and stuff too. So we kind of have to know what a lot of their intent is for the humor. And then we work out a rough storyboard that's just like scribble drawings. And then we'll go over with the writers again with that and make sure all of our basic setups are correct. And then we'll do a more finished out storyboard with some rough animation in it. And then we go through another meeting and revise that. And then we go to finished storyboards, which is basically a black and white version of the show. Just the animation's not all filled out.
Right.
And even after that, we go through revisions after that. Even when the show's animated, a lot of it comes back from revisions too. So they're always like fine tuning the show.
And what do you enjoy most about working as a storyboard artist?
Well, now I get to do a little bit of everything. Um, Before I got to do little bit of everything too. You used to have to do animation, storyboards. I got to ink and paint cells. I got to shoot on the camera. And so the way we do storyboards on Bob's, I get to do a little bit of that. We get to, digitally set up camera angles and that. We have to do storyboards. We have to do some keyframe animation for it. So I like getting to do all of that. It gives you a little more variety.
Yeah, I definitely like the idea of that.
Yeah,
Being able to
yeah,
do everything, multiple things at once.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so over 20 years ago, you pretty much got to do the design for Jimmy Neutron and then going on to the TV show and Planet Sheen.
Hmm.
How did you plan out all the designs for the characters and other parts of the franchise?
Jimmy Neutron started out with John Davis, who you interviewed the other day.
Yeah.
Well, he created the character and everything, and he had some scripts written out. He wanted to do some short animation pieces with that, and he didn't have any artwork done yet. So I thought, well, let me take a stab at it. And John thought that doing like 3D CGI animation was more like doing stop motion because they're three-dimensional figures.
Right.
So I got inspired by George Powell's Puppetoons, which are stop motion cartoons that were made back in the 40s. And I thought, oh, I'll make it kind of look kind of like that. And I did some designs, and that led to John doing a little short film of Jimmy Neutron with computer animation. Back then, he was known as Johnny Quasar.
Yeah.
And that got seen by some people at Nickelodeon, and of course, the rest is history. But then once Keith Alcorn, who was John's partner, came in on, and we collaborated on a lot of the designs for the show. So it was kind of a combination of Keith's stuff, which is very Jay Ward influenced, and my stuff, which is more was the George Powell, Warner Brothers, Disney kind of thing. We kind of combined those styles to make Jimmy look the way he looked.
And how long did it take to come up with the perfect design?
Right away, I had some drawings done, but then Keith and I bounced a lot of ideas back and forth and ended up changing a lot of things. So Jimmy went through quite a few changes along the way, always trying to make it better, and then you have to make things work in animation too. Like my original designs were, he had like really short legs. And I thought we could make him walk like Tweety Bird, with the type walking. And the animators thought that might be too hard to do. So we had to give him longer legs so he could have like a more normal, more human-like walk and stuff like that.
And what's it like to know that Jimmy Neutron is still really popular and loved by fans, old and new generations? It's hard to believe that it's even been 20 years, considering I was like 4 years old when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the franchise has had such a huge part of my life growing up. What's it like to know that Jimmy is still loved by a lot of fans?
Well, it's always good to know. I'm glad there's people out there that still like it and stuff. I wish Nickelodeon would do a revival of it like they are with some of their other shows. It'd be really cool with all the, CG animation has advanced so much since the show was originally done. They could make it look really, really cool now, much better than the original
iCarly or Rugrats. They can definitely bring back Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, and I know I think all the original voice cast is still around. And I know John and Keith are still interested in doing it. So it's...
Yeah, John mentioned it the other day when we chatted that there was a meeting about it, but nothing ever happened.
Yeah. I remember when they were in town for the meeting, and unfortunately nothing ever came of it.
Maybe someday.
Maybe they'll change their mind and look at it again.
So I got a couple more questions. did you have a favorite project that you were involved with?
Well, Jimmy Neutron's one of them. That was the first movie I ever got to work on. I really like working on Bob's Burgers. No offense to Jimmy Neutron, but I think it's the best show I've ever had the opportunity to work on. And I've been here for just a little over 10 years now, working on Bob's. I came in on season 2, and I lucked into the job. Someone recommended me to them, and they needed a storyboard artist to start right away. And I was available, so
That's
and
fantastic.
been working there full time ever since.
And when it comes to animations, do you have a favorite film or series that you enjoy watching?
Yeah, I have a bunch of favorite films and shows. Like I said, I really love the old Warner Brother cartoons from the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Yeah.
Um, I really like, there's more recent stuff. I really like the Avatar, The Last Airbender
Oh
series
yeah,
on Nickelodeon. I love
that's
that
so
because
good.
I'm into Chinese martial arts and stuff. So I really enjoyed that show because of that. Of course, I like some of the Disney films, especially the classic ones.
Yeah.
I have a couple of animated films that I'd like to recommend that are my favorites. One of them is called The Adventures of Prince Ahmed, and it's actually the first feature-length animated film. It's a silent movie from the 1920s, and it was all done in stop motion with paper cutout figures in silhouette. And it's an absolutely beautiful film, and it's survived with its original music track, which has been restored and recorded with a modern orchestra for the DVD release of that. If you ever get a chance to find it, it may be on YouTube.
It might be. That
Yeah,
actually
and
sounds real interesting because I didn't know that the first animated movie went all the way back then.
yeah, it was made by a woman in Germany back in the 1920s.
Oh wow.
And another favorite animated film of mine is called Havoc in Heaven. Havoc in Heaven. It's a Chinese animated film from the 1960s, and it's about the Monkey King legend. And I saw that at a film festival back in the 1980s, and it's just a really cool film. It has all kinds of like kung fu action, and the animation is beautiful and very colorful, and it doesn't look like any animated film you've ever seen before.
Well, I'll definitely check it out.
It is on YouTube for free. It's in Chinese with English subtitles.
Well, that's very helpful.
Yeah, and it's called either Uproar in Heaven or Havoc in Heaven.
Okay. I would definitely take a look at that as soon as we're done here.
Uh-huh.
I'm always on the lookout for other animation projects to check out.
Yeah, and look up Ray Harryhausen too. You'll like his films. He's got a bunch of films from the 50s and 60s that are a lot of fun to watch.
I'm not all that familiar with Chinese or anime other than watching Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, but I'm always interested in learning other things.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Miyazaki's films as well. I really like Princess Mononoke and My Neighbor Totoro and Porco Rosso are some of my favorites there.
So are you currently working on any new projects at this time?
Well, other than Bob's Burgers, if I may, I'd like to plug my my graphic novel, which I will show you here. It's called Dragon Skull, and it is an action adventure story, kind of a more of a PG rated Game of Thrones type of thing. It's got dragons and stuff in it. So I'm actively promoting that right now. If
Is
anybody,
that available on Amazon so I can order it?
you can order it from me, and there's a couple of comic shops that are carrying it. And I'm looking for a distributor or a publisher to carry it at the moment.
All right, well,
But it's
keep me
all,
updated on that, and I'll
yeah,
definitely
it's all
give it a
set and ready to go.
read.
And I also have my cartoon art book, which I sent you a copy of.
Yeah, I definitely love looking at it.
I have a limited supply of that. If people want to order that, it's available directly from me. So
Well, I really appreciate the time talking with you today, Paul. I definitely learned a lot from you, and it was really a lot of fun to chat.
oh, thank you so much for having me on. It was a lot of fun. This is my first interview, so I
Oh,
was
wow.
a little bit nervous and stuff about doing it.
I'm always nervous before a chat, and this was
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
yeah. Well, I
I'm
hope I
glad
didn't
I was the
ramble on
first
too
one.
much.
Well, I'm glad I got to be your first interview then.
Oh, great, great.
I'm really happy that we reached out on Facebook too. That was really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, thanks so much. Folks can follow me on Facebook and stuff. I post art and movie reviews and joke items and stuff. So
I'm always posting everything. So,
yeah, yeah.
well, it was great talking to you, Paul. And I'll
Thanks,
send you
Bill.
the link at a later time when it's uploaded, and we'll touch base on Facebook, I guess.
Okay, great, great. Thank you so
Have a
much.
good one, Paul.
All right, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.